Have you ever wondered why some relationships lift you up while others pull you down? What if there was a Stoic secret to finding connections that truly fulfill you? Today, we're unveiling the most crucial Stoic pillar for building meaningful relationships. This isn't just ancient wisdom, it's a game changer for your love life, friendships, and even family bonds. Stay with us, and by the end, you'll learn how to create deeper, more resilient relationships rooted in Stoic principles. If you're ready to transform your connections, hit like, subscribe, and let's dive in. Let's start with a story. Picture this: Rome, 2nd century AD. A young Marcus Aurelius, not yet the famed philosopher king but already deeply immersed in Stoic teachings, is observing the chaotic dynamics of the Roman court. He notices that many relationships around him are driven by status, desire, and fleeting emotions. People are constantly getting hurt, betrayed, and left feeling empty. He wonders, is there a better way to connect with others, a way that aligns with virtue and true wisdom? It was here, amidst the grandeur and noise of ancient Rome, that Marcus Aurelius discovered a profound truth: the only relationships worth cultivating are those built on a foundation of virtue, reason, and mutual respect. And this leads us to the most important pillar of Stoicism for relationships, the principle of virtue above all. But what does virtue above all really mean? And how can it help you build healthier, more meaningful relationships? That's what we're unpacking today. By the end of this video, you will have a comprehensive understanding of how this core Stoic tenet can guide you in every relationship, from romantic partnerships to friendships and family connections. You'll also learn practical tips on how to apply Stoic wisdom to avoid unnecessary emotional turmoil and foster connections that add true value to your life. 1. Understanding the pillar virtue above all. First, let's break down what we mean by virtue above all in Stoic philosophy. Virtue is the highest good and the only true source of a good life. It consists of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. When it comes to relationships, this principle means prioritizing these virtues over fleeting emotions, desires, or external appearances. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be." B1. This isn't just advice for self-improvement, it's also a blueprint for how to approach relationships. Instead of seeking validation, comfort, or status from others, Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own virtue and to surround ourselves with those who help us grow in wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. 2. The dangers of emotional dependency. To better understand why this pillar is so crucial, let's explore a common pitfall that many people face in relationships: emotional dependency. Think about it: how many relationships are built on the shaky ground of needing someone to feel whole, validated, or complete? These kinds of relationships are not only fragile but also prone to conflict and dissatisfaction. Consider the story of Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, who spoke extensively about the dangers of emotional excess. He observed how people, consumed by passion or jealousy, often act against their own best interests. Seneca argued that emotional dependency is a form of slavery. It binds you to the whims and actions of another person. The Stoic answer? Cultivate self-sufficiency through virtue. The more we focus on our inner character and less on external approval, the stronger and freer we become. 3. Applying virtue to romantic relationships. Now, let's bring this principle into a more specific context: romantic relationships. Imagine you're in a relationship where constant validation and emotional highs are mistaken for love. It feels exhilarating at first, but soon the inevitable lows create doubt, anxiety, insecurity. Marcus Aurelius would say that this is because the relationship lacks a foundation in virtue. For a romantic relationship to thrive under Stoic principles, both partners must be committed to their own growth and the growth of the other. It's not about finding someone who completes you, but someone who complements your pursuit of a virtuous life. Think of the marriage between Marcus Aurelius and Faustina. Despite the rumors and challenges they faced, Marcus remained grounded in his Stoic principles. He didn't react with jealousy or possessiveness, but with rationality and a commitment to virtue, focusing on what he could control: his thoughts, actions, and decisions. This is a powerful lesson for us in love. We should seek to be partners in virtue, helping each other become better versions of ourselves. 4 practical steps to cultivate virtuous relationships. So, how can we apply these ideas to our own lives? Here are a few practical steps inspired by Stoicism. 1. Set clear boundaries based on virtue. Clearly define what you value most in a relationship. Is it honesty, kindness, wisdom? Use these values to set boundaries and communicate them openly with others. Remember, boundaries are not about controlling others, but about protecting your own commitment to virtue. 2. Practice emotional regulation. When faced with conflict or emotional challenges, pause and reflect before reacting. Ask yourself, am I acting from a place of virtue, or am I being driven by fear, jealousy, or anger? By choosing virtue over impulsive emotions, you maintain your inner peace and act with wisdom. 3. Focus on mutual growth. Engage in relationships where both parties are committed to growth. This could mean having deep, meaningful conversations, encouraging each other's personal development, or simply being there as a source of wisdom and support during tough times. 5 Stoic principles for friendships. But Stoicism isn't just for romantic relationships, it's also a powerful guide for friendships. The Stoics believed that a true friend is a companion in virtue. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is an excellent reminder that a Stoic friendship is built on understanding, empathy, and wisdom rather than superficial interests. Imagine a friendship where both individuals are committed to becoming better versions of themselves. They challenge each other to think deeper, act more justly, and live more courageously. Such friendships are rare but incredibly fulfilling. They are the ones that withstand the test of time and adversity because they are rooted in something deeper than mere convenience or shared interests. They are rooted in virtue. 6. Navigating family dynamics with Stoicism. Family relationships can often be the most challenging to navigate because of deep emotional ties and expectations. However, Stoicism provides a framework for dealing with these complexities. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and attitudes, while practicing acceptance for what we cannot change, including the behaviors of family members. The key is to approach family relationships with patience, empathy, and a commitment to virtue. Instead of being reactive or falling into old patterns of behavior, take a step back and consider what a wise and just response would look like. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on how to deal with difficult people, reminding himself that everyone has their struggles and that we must not let others' actions dictate our peace. 7. Overcoming attachment and expectations. Another essential aspect of Stoic relationships is understanding the nature of attachment and managing expectations. Stoicism teaches us that much of our suffering comes from wanting things to be different than they are. In relationships, this often translates to expecting others to behave in a certain way or fulfill our needs. Instead, we should strive for a sense of detachment, not in the sense of being aloof or uncaring, but in being resilient to the ups and downs of relationships. By focusing on our own virtue and letting go of unrealistic expectations, we create space for healthier, more authentic connections. 8. The role of forgiveness and compassion in Stoic relationships. Lastly, let's talk about forgiveness and compassion. Stoicism isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about approaching life with wisdom and understanding. When others wrong us or fail to meet our expectations, Stoicism encourages us to practice forgiveness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil." Instead of harboring resentment, understand that everyone is fighting their own battles and that they act out of ignorance rather than malice. This mindset doesn't excuse bad behavior but allows us to move forward with grace, maintaining our inner peace and focusing on what truly matters, our own growth and virtue. Conclusion. As we've seen today, the most important pillar of Stoicism for relationships is virtue above all. By focusing on wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control, we can build relationships that are not only meaningful but also resilient and fulfilling.